Hey, what's up, guys? I hope you're all well. Thanks a lot for watching this video. As you read in the thumbnail, today we will talk about trading. So I will share with you my last AMA, which I get in my Discord server, in my NFT project. By the way, you can always also join my Discord server and uh, be there if I get one of my live AMAs or some other coaches in my group get also this kind of AMA, so you can take part on it. And in this AMA, I basically explain how I trade. I explain the really basics in trading if you want to trade crypto, how to use technical analysis, very important also how to use risk management or bankroll management. This is an extremely important thing so your trading become a consistent business and hopefully profitable if you make all the things right and don't gamble. This is important because if you want trade, you want to make money on a consistent basis. You don't want to gamble because and regarding gambles, the house is always winning. So yeah, that's all about. I hope you will enjoy this video. I hope you will you will get valuable things from it. But before we start to watching this, of course, as you know, please don't forget to like, subscribe, put the notification bell. It helps my channel a lot, of course. Right, and I always very appreciate this. And also, if you leave a comment for the algorithms, will be also cool. And you can always ask everything what you want. I always read the comments. So let's start. Peace. Okay, guys, again, thanks a lot for joining this AMA. As I told, this AMA is all about trading, so I will make a kind of presentation about my strategy, how I see all this stuff, right? I need, of course, to tell you, I'm not a really professional trader. I'm not really someone who really make a living with trading. I think if I will be a really good trader, I will be maybe right now in the Bahamas, just enjoying life, because trading is actually very easy to learn, but extremely hard to master. And there's just a small percentage who really master this and who are really good at this. And these people normally they will have no more issues with money at all. So these people who really just push some buttons and they have they can afford whatever they want. So trading is pretty serious if you know how to do this, and it is a very serious skill. And people need really to learn this for years. If you're talented, I know some guys they trade for 6 months and become really good, and other guys they make it for years and still struggle, right? I trade myself also. So I starting with the crypto trading 2 years ago. So I make it also with breaks, etc., etc. And in this time period, of course, I learned a lot and still learning. Yes, I would say my level is somewhere, you're not completely beginner, but not completely professional, somewhere in the middle. I have tried trades where I lose, where I win, etc., etc. And in this thing, I would like to show you more about this, what I have learned so far, what's really important in this topic, and hopefully you can get a lot of things from this. Okay, so before we start, the first important thing before you ever starting with a strategy, how to trade, etc., etc., before you even try to understand technical analysis, the most important thing. So before we start even to think about strategies and technical analysis, there's very important things that you need to clear with yourself, and this is risk management. So risk management is in my opinion, the most important. Let me write it down. Think risk. Nah, sorry for my very beautiful thing. So risk management is the most important thing. And why risk management? Let me explain you. If you don't manage your risk and manage your bankroll, you will get pretty fast into trouble if you try to trade. And trading is not more trading. Trading become a gambling, and in gambling, you know the house always wins. So therefore, you need first to develop for yourself a strategy how you act with your money, how you manage your risk and your money. For example, let's say this is a bad example for risk strategy. Let's say you have $1,000 and you're ready to trade with them, right? And you put $1,000 in a trade, leverage 10, whatever. And let's say you lose 50% of it, right? Then you have just $500, which you have to trade with. So then your capital is $500. To get your $1,000 back, you need to take this $500 and you need to make another trade, and then you need to win this time 100%. Yes, so you need to make this insane trade where you make your 500 back, but you have just 500 because you lose 500. So you win must be 100%. And just to be then again on 1,000 and break even, right? And that's not how you want to trade, because then it becomes a gambling. So let me show you how to make it right, for example. Again, please, this whiteboard, it's so annoying. Okay. So let's say you need to understand, okay, what kind of amount you're ready to use for trading, and also you're ready to lose. Let's say it's also $1,000. So you're ready to lose $1,000, so you put it in the account, right? So this time you go in the trade only with $100. So always divide this in 10, only with $100. If you go in a trade with $100, let's say you go with the leverage 5, right? Then it can be two results. For example, you can lose or win. And if you always make a strategy where you take profits, let's say after 5% win, and make a stop loss after 3% win, then with 5 leverage, you will go in a trade. Let me write it down here. You will go in a trade with, let's say, $500. So because your leverage is 5, right? And then you have two options. You rather win or rather lose. 5%, rather 3% lose. If you win 5%, then you make $25. If you lose 3%, then you lose $15. It doesn't matter if you win or lose. So you win, you are $25 richer. You lose, you are $50 poorer. Doesn't matter. The next trade, the second trade, is also just $100. Why it's so important? Because you need the consistency. You don't want to go in a trade. This time you go with 1,000, then you lose 200. The next time you go with 800, then you win maybe, then you have 1,200. You want consistency. And that's why it's always a good idea if you trade, for example, Bitcoin or Ethereum, always trade with USDT. So you don't care in this case, you know, is the Bitcoin high or low, etc. You just care about volatility and to make the right trades. And you see exactly what is your win, what is your lose, etc., etc. And if you keep doing like this, right, you have this kind of consistency. You can track your trades. And tracking is another thing regarding trades. So I will show you also how to do this. And if you do this, you need also to develop a strategy how you scale, for example, or what you do if you lose. For example, let's say you starting winning, right? And then you need to tell yourself, okay, as soon I make from my $1,000 1,500 USD, for example, right? So let's say you trade with a strategy for 1, 2, maybe 3 months, you make finally $1,500, right? Then you tell yourself, okay, I divide this again with 10, and now I can go in a trade with $150, right? So I have $1,500 in my account, and I go straight in a trade with $150. And then you have also these two options: 5% wins, 3% loss, right? And in this case, it will be, yeah, I don't know, don't want to make a mess right now. For example, $35 win and just $20 lose. So you top up yourself a little bit, and therefore you scale. With $1,500 and $1,000, if you go with $150, it's not much. But if you keep going on a consistent basis, and if you develop your strategy and over time get experience, then you can pretty fast get on 10,000 USD, and then you can go in a trade with 1,000 USD, you know, and therefore, and with this, you can slowly but steady starting to top up your account. But on the other side, it's also very important. You need to have a plan if you lose money. For example, let's say, especially if you start with trading, right? Let's say you have starting trade with $1,000 and your strategy is not working, and you're making mistakes, getting emotional, etc., etc. And then you need to say, okay, at what point I need to stop it for a bit. So let's say you say, in worst case, as soon I get just $700, for example, from my 1,000, because I lose $300 over a few trades, over, let's say, 5, 6, 7 trades, and the most of them were losses, something like this, right? Then you need to tell myself, in this case, I divide this 700 through 10. This will be right now then just $70. So you lower your trades, not from $100, you go to $70. So your wins will be less, but your losses will be less. So you stabilize you a little bit, so you don't lose so much. Then you learn more about your trading strategy, you tweak your trading strategy, and etc., etc. Right? And then your goal is slowly to come back onto the level where you have again $1,000. And then you top up again to $100 each trade until you get again $1,500. So this is called risk management and bankroll management. So before you even start, to trade, you need to make a plan. You need to tell yourself, okay, how money do I have? Even if it's just $200, $100, $300, right? If you have just $100, go in a trade with $10. It's because it's anyways the numbers you learn to trade. If you have nothing, then paper trade. But in my opinion, it is always better to trade at least with some kind of amount on money than with nothing, because if you just paper trade, then you don't train yourself really to trade with money. It will be more boring to you, not really serious. Even if it's just a really small amount of money, you learn already to manage your money. to manage your trades, and that's very important. That's extremely important. That's why money in risk management is so important. Then the second thing is what I want to tell you. The second thing is, if you make this commitment to you, so let's say you have a plan, a risk management plan. The second thing, you need to track your trades. And let me show you. Let me first write it down. Track your trades. You need to track them. And I make here this, for example, this is an example of a trading strategy, what I started a month ago with Ethereum. I make this spreadsheet. I will share this spreadsheet also next day, an announcement so people can check the video and use the spreadsheet. And in this spreadsheet, you always want to write your trades down. So when was at which day you have entered, which time, entry price, close price, was it a long or short position, and then you type in, was it a win or lose, and depends on the win I make just a one, so it's one win. On the lose also one, and also gain in percentage. You have this data basically normally on your broker if you trade on Binance or Phoenix. So you just copy and paste this, right? And I have this thing here, for example. You can see. I will share this with you. So you can see I start the strategy in September. I get so far 6 wins, 6 losses, and it calculates everything. So gain was 222%. Losses 210%. So he calculates just from my trades, right? So 222%. For example, I have put $2,000 in my account and I trade just with $200, right? So in this case, I make overall of 12%, and that's $104 in win. You know, after making 2 trades, and always go in the trade with $200, right? And I will share this with you, this spreadsheet. So it's very important so you understand this. Also, what I do, I make always a picture. So in Tradingview, and I will show you this later, you can always make a picture, and then you understand. So what was the trade? How was the trade looking? For this is another trade which I make. This was, for example, this was a win, right? So it's very important to track this. And here I write always down why I have made this trade. So if you want take trading serious and not just gamble, you need to have this more serious and professional approach to this. And it is something which is not easy to learn, but if people learn this, it is a very nice and profitable thing. This is regarding the trading journal, right? So very important to always type it down. And the next thing, number 3, is of course technical analysis. So you need to understand technical analysis. So this is the most now interesting part, of course. So you can understand when you rather go long or short, etc., etc. And for this, let's go to Tradingview. And for example, I have normally a paid version for Tradingview, but I like to make it here with you with a new account. So you can make this also, because it has also a free version, and in the beginning it's basically enough. So if you go to tradingview.com, you click on products and you go to chart, right? And then let me delete this all. First of all, I forget So I will later show you. So then you see, normally you see here is always in white. So normally this is what you normally will see, right? I like always to keep it in the dark mode because it's nicer for your eyes. And here, if you go then here, where it says BTC USDT, you can choose your trading pair. So I have already choose BTC USDT. It is better, for example, if you trade on Binance, then you click on Binance. If you trade on KuCoin or CoinEx, whatever. But in general, it's basically the same. It's all a little bit different because each broker, doesn't matter, Binance, Phoenix, etc., they have some kind of small differences because they have different movement. But in general, it's the same chart, right? Just and the first thing what you need to understand, you have different time frames, right? So 1 to 30 seconds in the free version is not allowed. You need to pay for this, but doesn't matter. Also 1 minute, no, you still, so 1 minute is the smallest one. So you don't interested to be 1 or 5, 15 minutes. It's just the time frames are just too low. If you want day trade, keep it at least 30 minutes. I like to keep it 1 hour. And what does the time frames means? Of course, each candle represent one time frame, right? Each candle represent 1 hour. And the first important thing, of course, to understand is in general, if you go to the daily, if you want to trade some things, what I like to do, you go to the daily, so you click on D, and then you understand that each candle means a day, right? So the first basic, so I will start really with the basic things, is always to identify the trend, right? And here we can see, and this is, wait a second, this is the most simple, but the most powerful thing. And in trading, believe it or not, the simple things are the things which works best. It's the simpler you keep it, the more success you can get. And the most simple thing is always follow the trend. And right now, for example, we have a clear downtrend. So the trend is we going down. It is what it is. And the higher the time frames, the more you have, the better you have the understanding what you need to follow more. It's sometimes a little bit difficult for me to explain in English, but I hope you get me in this case. Right, so that means if we have on this macro level a downtrend, that we probably will go down, and then if you go back to, let's say, 4 hours, and we go here, then you see, for example, right now it's more up and down, right? So in this area, it's not 100%, for example, clear. Do we go up and do we go down? But because we have previously this big downtrend, it tends to go more down. So technically, in really understandable things. So always the chances that it will go more down is always higher than it will go back, right? Of course, at some point, it will be a bounce. So at some point, it cannot go down forever, right? At some point, it will go up again. But the chances that it will go down is always a little bit higher because previously the narrative is a downtrend. This is the first thing what you need to what you need to understand. And if you zoom in, for example, so you zoom more in, you see each candle is 4 hours, and let's say just this area here. Then you see even in the more micro time frame, in the how to tell, the more micro time frames, it's still a little of a downtrend. So the majority that it will go more down is a little bit higher than it will go more up. So this is the first understanding what you always need to understand, because trading is, you can never tell the future what will happen, but you always it's more a game of what will be happened more in, how to tell. Okay, I don't know how to tell it right now in English. It's more what will more happen in the future. So I don't know how to tell it. English sucks, but I hope you got my idea. So if you understand this, then you can start to make the first things, which are the most also very important. You go to the weekly time frame, right? And then the first things what you want to do, you want to recognize your resistance and support lines on a weekly basis. So we see here, this is a Bitcoin chart, and each candle represent 1 week, and you want to understand on which points there was a strong support and resistance. So on which points price movement changed the direction, and you want to have similar points in a line. For example, the first thing what I see here, for example, is here. So let's make it a blue line. What I mark all my weekly lines as blue, for example. So so we can understand, for example, here you see was a movement, here was a bounce. You see green lines and red lines, and again green lines. Here was some bounce. You see a big drop, and then bounce it. It bounced back, it dropped again, it bounced back. So here was a big movement, here big movement, right? So we see 3 points. So this area, 33,700 for Bitcoin, is very interesting, for example. So that means if price will go somewhere here, then it's very interesting to watch it, because you need to understand whether it will break up and then it's very more bullish, or it will bounce and it's more bearish. That's why support and resistance lines are so important. And let's put quickly then other weekly lines. So all-time high here, for example. Another one I will put, let's say, here's a good point. You see here's movement, here's bounces and some things. Next one, by the way, also very interesting line. We are right now also in a very interesting price level right now. You can see previous in November 20, there was here a bounce, a resistance, price go down, and from here it goes up again. And you see at this point, price reacted 2 years later. You know, it's 2 years later. And even if it's 2 years later, price have reacted at this point, because here was previously a reaction, right? This is how this thing works, how price movements works. It's because maybe some bots were here and they have the command to react, or maybe other traders see this also and start to react at this price level. What people see this chart and they react on this, and therefore price reacted on this, right? It bounces here and goes back, right? So let's say these are the weekly candles. The next one, what you want to do, you want to go on the daily chart. So each candle represents a daily candle, right? And what you want to do now, let me make it in yellow. What you want to do now is you want to put again support and resistance lines, but on the daily, right? And let's say here, for example, is a nice area. You see here had some things, and here. So we can put here a daily candle. We can put, here's a nice daily candle. You see a lot of resistance or support. Also here support, 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 and here also where price is fighting, you know, where the bears and bulls are fighting against each other, and the price cannot decide which direction it goes, and then boom, it crashes. So this is also a very nice daily area, right? Here's, for example, maybe I would say here's a nice daily area, and so on, so on. And okay, this is more weekly. Here's a nice, here I see big, strong, the price resist here. Here was a very strong resistance, here a very strong resistance. And same thing I would say was here, right? So now you have supported resistance lines on a weekly basis in blue, and support and resistance lines on a daily basis in green. And you need to understand, the higher the time frame, the stronger the support and resistance lines. This is very important, right? So the blue ones in this case has more power to get your resistance or support than the yellow ones. But the yellows are still very strong because they're on the daily basis. And then you can go ahead and let's make just on 1 hour time frame, right? So now you go a little bit more deeper. And for example, you can see here, even after I put a weekly and a daily line, you can see here very nice how the price bounced from the weekly, bounced from the weekly, bounced from the weekly, boom, comes to the daily, bounces back, you know, again daily, bounces back, go to the weekly, boom. And now we see here it is really now on the weekly. Right now, in my opinion, for example, if it comes to Bitcoin, right, if it go here up a little bit, chances are very high that it will go up, down, up to the daily line, right? Rather, it will breaks down, then it will go down a lot deeper. Then Bitcoin is really in trouble. Then it can be down to 10,000, etc. So right now, this line is right now very crucial and very important. Yeah, and the same thing. Before you keep doing this trading, you can, if you zoom in, you can make, let's say in green, you can put lines on a hourly basis. And now you zoom more in. So for example, you see here's a lot of movement. You see here's a big resistance, right? And just because of this, you can put here a line, right? And you can see even here's a resistance. Yeah, here was a bounce, right? So this makes sense. But of course, you need to understand this hourly line is not so strong like this weekly. You see, this weekly is very strong. The hourly is not so strong. The daily line, the green line is even more strong. So this is the real basics of trading, of technical analysis, but this kind of basics are very strong if you master them. Here's the same thing. Also here, you see, for example, and I would say here's also very good line. So you have here created already some things which you can work with, right? This is what comes in regarding to support and resistance lines. The next step is, of course, to get some indicators. And if we click on indicators, I already marked the indicators what I use normally. So first of all, the first indicator is a very known indicator is relative strength index. And relative strength index means, like the name says, it's a relative strength to the price right now. For example, if we go back to the daily, right, then, or even better to the weekly, what does it mean? So you see basically on the weekly, the relative strength index shows you that right now the price is very oversold. That means there's a lot, normally there's a buy pressure, and this makes sense because the price is very low. It is oversold, it is more here into the bottom. So on the macro level, you need to understand that right now, from this point, if it's not going to break completely down, chances are very high that at some point it will go up, because it makes also sense, because right now the price is also very cheap for Bitcoin. So there will be a point where people starting to buy again, and price will again go up, and maybe skyrocket, right, on the weekly. But you won't trade, of course, on the hourly. So we will go back to the 1 hour. So, and here you can understand it is right now in the middle. So you don't really know if it's overbought or oversold. So in this case, what does it mean is it's relatively, it's a price level relatively right now overbought or oversold. If a lot of people starting to buy, right, the price is very high then, right? And therefore it's overbought. And that means in this case, a lot of people buy this price, and for a lot of people will probably take profits, and therefore it will go down again. So basically what you need to understand, relative strength indicator, is it goes always up and down. It bounces always from ups to downs to ups to downs. And you want always looking for a buy if it's down, if it's below here, and looking for a short position if it's up, if it's something's here. What I like to use, I just want to show you the standard relative strength indicator, because it's really standard. Everyone who is a little bit into trading knows this. I want to show you another thing, and this called Fu Manchu cipher B divergence. Maybe it's very funny, because normally for this indicator, there's a very famous YouTuber, a very successful trader. How is his name? CryptoFace. Maybe somebody of them heard this. And he sells this indicator. And normally you need to pay, I don't know, $200, $300, $400 a month, or $100 a month. But it's kind of expensive to get this indicator of Tradingview. And the funny thing, you can get this trading indicator for free. You just to go to indicators and just type in Fu Manchu cipher B. And this is a mean one. And because it's basically like the relative strength index, we can delete the relative strength index and keep this indicator. Why? Because it has also some extras. The mean extra, what I like is this points, right? So you always want looking for a short position if the waves are above this line, and for long positions if the waves are below. And you always want to check these points. If we have this green points, it means it's starting to go up. If we have red points, it means starting to go down. And you won't catch the price if this line, for example, right now, if we check just this indicator, it will be maybe not bad to looking for a long position, right? Because it goes down, and now it starts to go a little bit more up after you get this red point, right? This is the second indicator. And then you have also this stochastic RSI. This is also like an RSI, but it's more sensible. It's also always a good idea to looking for long position if it's here down, and a good idea to looking for short positions if it's here up, right? And then you have also some other stuff here, but it will be just too much for this, right? So I try to keep it as simple as possible. That's the second idea. This is the first indicator in this case, what I like to add. We can just add 3 indicators because it's a free version. So we keep it with the most, for me, in my opinion, the most strange indicators. The second one, I would say, is the super trend indicator. No, let's wait a second. No, let's keep it more simple. I will lay. It's a moving average. What does a moving average means? Let me set up first of all. I would like to set up here in length 50. It means it is an average of price from the last 50 candles. So the system takes the last 50 candles, it counts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the 50 candles, and it shows you here the average price of the last 50 candles. If you set it up to 200, it will show you the last price 200. And I like to keep it with 50, so I can understand more short period trend. Is it more bullish or bearish, right? So this is one thing which can help you. So you can use this moving average also always a little bit as a support or resistance line. So this can help you also. And the third one is a super trend indicator. So basically, I marked them. You will see this in the recorded video. Just type in here super trend, and you will find this indicator. And this is a very nice indicator because it shows you as also the trends. So basically, it shows you sell, buy, and it shows you also these lines are very nice. It shows from the system. So the system recognizes the last interesting points here and put here the lines. And that means, for example, like super trend in 1 hourly, we are a little bit in the uptrend. And you can see, for example, it bounces here from this line. And that's also very nice to catch long positions or short positions. So example, if we have, if we're looking for a long position, we could wait here a little bit, right, until it bounces. Right now, it could be a nice long position, for example, because, and that's another thing, what's very important, you cannot trust just one indicator, or you cannot trust just one support or resistance lines. What the magic word is confluence. So you won't have different indicators and different things which work together, right? In this case, for example, right now, it could be a nice long trade. Why? Because first of all, it shows in general, we are like with this super trend indicator, we are bullish right now. Second of all, you see here, it bounces very nice from this super trend line. The third thing is it bounces also. You can see from the weekly line, you can see here it goes down, then it bounces back. And the fourth thing is, if you check this indicator, it's oversold after this green point, right? After this green point. And it looks like it will go up. Of course, we're in a narrative, in a bearish narrative, right? But still, from this point, it could be a good idea to make a long trade. And if you make a trade, right, before you set up your trade, you go here. And let me find this. Normally I have it on default, but because new account, I need to find this. You go here, and let's make this also as to mark them. So you will have it here. So you will hear a long position or a short position. So you click on the long position, and let's say you go here, right? You click here, and then you can understand, okay, where always have a stop loss and always have a take profit. So you need to understand, based on technical analysis, where you put in your stop loss and where you put in your take profit. What I like to do, let's say we start from here, right? We go here in a trade. First, I need to understand where I put my stop loss. So I need find out levels which will protecting my position. For example, the first level which will protect my position is this weekly candle, as the weekly line. Here will be resistance. The second position will be this super trend line, right? So I won't have my stop loss under this. And maybe also to say the last previous low was under this candle, so put it even under this candle, right? So to lose the trade needs to break this weekly resistance, it needs to break this line, and it needs to be even lower than the last lowest candle. Then I will lose the trade, right? But I put the stop loss as secure as possible to not losing the trade. Of course, it's a game of really, again, I forget the word. Let me Google the word. This is so stupid if I forget your words. Wait a second, because this is important, what trading is. When I learned finally English. Relativity, yes. It's a game of relativity. So does it relatively will go more down or up, right? So the first thing what I set up is a stop loss. So I understand for myself the relativity that it will go down until here is pretty not as big as it may go up, because above I don't see any resistance lines, for example. And then I need to set up my take profit. And if you see, if I go up and down, a very important thing is risk reward ratio, right? So if you, let's say you have here 3%, so until you will lose your trade 3%, right? And you go until 6%, then the risk reward ratio is 2. So you see 0.99. I like to make the risk reward ratio always by 1.5, right? So it will be something like here, 1.5. And now you need to play around a little bit. So the problem here, for example, will be to get my take profit, price need to move over this holy line, right? So, but I want to keep it to relatively 1.5 risk reward ratio. So then you can play around to understand, okay, do I want maybe make my stop loss a little bit lower, so I can make my take profit also a little bit lower, so it will be below this line, just to make sure. So I will have my stop loss a little bit like here, right? But then I can get my take profit a little bit lower under this line. So I have a relative risk reward ratio of 1.5. And then you can let the trade living like this, right? And then you put in the trade, and then it's very important to let the trade go. If you lose, you lose. If you win, you win, right? And then you plan your next trade. So that's how it's going. And then, of course, after you lose or win, you put it in your trading journal, right? And then over time, you start to analyze your strategy. Before I keep going, so far, any questions regarding this? If not, then I will keep going and show another thing. And then we can backtest. Then I can show you how to backtest strategy. No questions so far, then okay, then let's keep me going. Okay, so the next thing is you want to understand, you want to backtest your strategy. So first you need to understand, okay, when I go long and when I go short, right? What kind of strategy I want to use. And then you can backtest this. And how to do this is following. Tradingview has a replay button, replay function. Unfortunately, if I click here, for example, you see test your strategy with inverted bar replies. I cannot use this with this free account, but I would like to show you this with my paid account. This is my paid account. So I set up, for example, Bitcoin also with moving average 50, super trend, and also market cipher. And what you can do, just of course, if you have a paid account, there's at least it's at least $15 a month. In my opinion, it's completely worth it. If you're serious about this, you can test your strategy. So let's say you tell yourself, I just want to go short if it says sell, and I will just go buy as long it say if it says buy, etc., etc. Right? And let's say so I don't have here support and resistance lines, for example, but I just want to show you. But we can just keep it with these indicators. Doesn't matter. So let's say, oh no, let me make quickly support and resistance lines here, so we can make it more serious. Okay, so I can connect again. Wait a second. Okay, so I have here all the stuff on default. So this will be blue. Again, let's make it quickly like it. Another weekly line. Here's a weekly line. Yeah, we keep it like this because we will. Then another on the daily. Then here's a nice daily line. Here's a nice daily line. Yeah, let's keep it like this. So just few strong lines, and let's say on the hourly, for example, and make here some hourly lines on a hourly basis. This is a nice line. Let's keep it green. And yeah, let's keep this line. So that's enough. And now we want testing, let's say, our trading skills, or you want to test the strategy. So how to do this is following. If you have a paid account, this is a very, very nice tool from Tradingview. So you click here on replay, and let's go from here. Boom, right? And that means you put you in positions like you don't know what happens next, right? For example. And then you click on play. Then you have, let us catch the super trend, right? And then you can click on play. And now it goes up. And you can see, for example, right? Right now we have the situation where the market cipher shows you oversold. We have the situation where we are, that means, and it shows us a green dot, right? We have a situation where super trend shows us buy, right? It kind of bounced a little bit, but we have another situation where we have this weekly resistance line. It's right now it's a resistance line because it price may resist from it. If price will go up, it will be a support line. Right now, it's a resistance lines. So therefore, these resistance lines will make us trouble to make a long position. So that's why maybe it's risky to get a long position. So you need to understand this, and that's how you train your skill, your brain to make the right decisions. And if you click, boom, you see it resists here. You click another candle, and now you see, for example, it breaks through, right? Another candle, it goes down. Another candle, it goes to the support line. Now it's a support line. It breaks again. And that's how you track this price movement. And on your strategy, you need to decide long or short, right? For example, now we have this here. So I will try to catch a trade. And now what I see, for example, and you have always different things. Some things will tell you it's bearish, other things will tell you it's bullish. For example, this wave tells me it's more bearish because it's more oversold, right? If I will have the strategy go just shorts, go longs, if I'm here down, I will not do this. But I try to catch different indicators and understand what the majority tells me. For example, this, you can see it bounces here, it bounces a second time with this candle, it tells me bullish. This thing tells me also bullish. And you can see if this moving average is above the moving average, it bounces from the moving average, so it tells me also bullish. So in this case, I would say I could make here a long position. And therefore, I click here on long, right? Set up my stop loss. Stop loss, yeah, it's pretty high. For example, little bit risky, 4%. And then I want a risk reward ratio of 1.5. And risk reward ratio 1.5 will be exact this hourly candle and below this weekly candle. So this weekly candle protect my price. And here I want to catch profits. And let's see how it goes, for example, right? You leave it to run. And with this, you can also basically paper trade. This is all what you need to paper trade. You develop a strategy, you know, you say yourself, okay, I go in longs if I have this, I go in shorts if I have this thing, and then you keep going with this. Right? And let's see how it will end. And another thing, it's more easier to trade like this if you have real situation where each candle is really 1 hour. Then it's more harder because you need to set up alarms and you need to get more patience, right? And let's. And by the way, we win the trade. For example, this was a win, right? So you win a trade, we make 7.3. And let's make a second trade, for example. Now we win the trade, and now we won't go another trade. And this is also a very nice example. Look, because this one, it bounces perfectly from this hourly line. You see, I don't know that it will bounce really here, but I just set it up and it really bounced it. And now, because it bounced, now we can check if it may make sense to make a short position and go all the way down until here. But before to doing this, you want to have more confirmation. So normally, by the way, it is always a good idea if price movement, if price movement breaks or bounces, bounces or breaks the support line, to wait maybe until it will come back and bouncing back. It is a good idea if it goes through. If, let's say, if price will go from here to here, really, then it will be a good idea to wait until it bounces back. Right now, but it bounces immediately. Right now, maybe it's right now a good short trade, but let's see. So, and yeah, it is basically a good short trade. I will tell you why. And normally we are still like the super trend indicator is still bullish. The moving average 50s under the price movement, it's also bullish, but it has bounced from this hourly line, and it's here oversold because the waves are above, right? And it has here this green, this red button. So in this case, it could be a nice idea to make a short position, right? And so this red thing is confirmed. We are oversold. It bounces here back. And let's say I would make here the stop loss. So things like here, right? So prices, this support line or resistance line is protecting our price, and we won't have a risk reward ratio of 1.5, right? So just like this, and let's see how it goes. Perfect. You see 2 trades in a row, which will be a win. And let's try another one, for example. And for example, here we have a win. And now you see, for example, this one. Now it's pretty much oversold, and we have this green dot, right? Boop. No, it's not confirmed. It's also very important to wait until this green dot is confirmed. It is confirmed, but we have immediately a red one, so we wait a little bit more. No, yeah. So in this case, it's very hard to tell. In this case, I will do nothing, to be honest, because it's right now pretty much in the middle between these two support resistance lines. Super trend teller sell, market cipher is oversold, but the red dot teller sell, right? I will keep doing this. And yeah, for now, I will just wait. What's also very interesting, you wait for the price movement until it catches this line here, and then waiting so it will bounce back, and then maybe to get a short position. It bounces now, for example, really hard. To make a short position now, it's a little bit maybe too late, but let's wait another. Now it can be maybe a good idea to make a short position. So let's try a short position, for example, because it has here this hard bounce, and you can see it bounced also back from the 50 moving average. So we click on short, we go here, I will set it up like this. And now it's a little bit tricky because I want have at least a risk reward ratio always. So this is my strategy of 0.5, right? And I want the stop loss here. If I have a 0.5, that it will be, the take profit will be below this support line, right? And I won't take the take profit before it breaks the support line. Therefore, my risk reward is 1.18. So I need to lower also my stop loss to 1.5, right? So I always have the risk reward 1.5. That's how I personally handle this. So my winnings are always a little bit more. My losses are always a little bit less, right? But let's take this trade, and I think this will be the last one. And let's see how it goes. Example. And looks like, no, we're still in the trade. We don't lose it. And we lose this trade. So this happens also. But the thing is, it's important to understand. You need to develop a strategy. So that's why you're testing a strategy. You need to have your personal rules when you go to a short trade, when you get to a long trade. Then you go back in time, 3, 4, 5 months, and then you start trading with these rules. And at the end of the day, you can notice why it says disconnecting. You can notice, is this strategy profitable or not? Over a long period of time. Let's say we have these 3 trades. Here we won 7.25. Here we won 4.9%, and here we lost just 3%. So we are right now really profitable. And if you develop the strategy and you see, okay, this is a profitable strategy, then you start to trade it in real time. And of course, then you also track your trades. And that's with the right proper risk management and with the right understanding of technical analysis, you can over time develop your own strategy where you make gains and money on consistent basis. So far I hope this was helpful for you guys. If you have questions, let me check. Okay. If you have questions, you can ask right now. If not, then I will end this AMA, and I hope it was helpful. It will, of course, record it, right? And you can check this later, of course. So, so far, any questions in this case?
Yeah, I do not have any questions, and thank you for taking the time to show us all of this information because it was honestly very helpful. You covered all the basis or the basics of trading, so that was really good.
Yeah, and if you're interested in this kind of topics, we can let me know, guys, so we can also go more deeper, right? And all this stuff. And yeah, I will post this recorded video tomorrow, and I hope it will help some other guys. And yeah, take care. Yeah, take care. Do you have a question? No?
Yeah, I
Okay.
really enjoy. Yeah, I really enjoyed your
Oh,
in-depth So
thanks a lot.
would there be
Thanks a lot.
yeah? So would there be other time for the TA parts, technical analysis parts, whereby one can really read market, then place a trade. So the in-depth and the advanced part of it.
Yeah, DCA bots. Yeah, I've also experienced with DCA bots. There's also a nice program, maybe called 3 commas. So maybe in future I will also show how you can use this. So it's also possible to set up bots which will make dollar cost average.
No, I'm not saying about bots. I mean TA, technical analysis, advanced part of it, whereby you can be able to place a trade, analyze the market and place a trade on your own. Being a newbie, yes, that's what I'm trying to
Oh,
ask.
yeah. Okay, cool. Okay, so thanks and for your feedback. I really appreciate this, guys. So in this case, I hope to see you on the next AMA, and I think we will make the AMA on Wednesday because there are more people, I think. Thanks again, and see you. Bye-bye.